feel a little bit intimidated after this wonderful speech about human and physical and spiritual, and wow, I will not be at the good level to continue your conversation, but let's go maybe in a more pragmatic way. While I was listening to you, I was once again thinking on the visionary and still innovative definition of health by the World Health Organization, means by all of you, because the World Health Organization means the member states that are part of the organization. And this connects a little bit with your introduction. In fact, for us, health is not just the absence of disease. And I know that I am preaching the converted, but it wouldn't be bad to start our daily work by reminding ourselves that we are talking here about the social, mental, and physical well-being, and that will require more than hospitals and care, and will require probably these fantastic connections with the ecosystems and what is around us, and making sure that we will have a sustainable development. So once again, I think it's good to remind us that we are not the World Disease Organization, but the World Health Organization, and therefore we need and we have the responsibility to connect to as many agendas that will help us to ensure a sustainable development and a good obtainment of the health and well-being of the people. Why I'm saying this is because biodiversity might not be at the core of the business that we used to do as the medical community, but it has to be at the core business of what the public health community needs to do, or the community engaged on health and well-being. And in fact, looking at the archives of WHO, we discovered recently, I mean, it's not discovered because it has always been there and it's not so old, but in 1992, WHO published a book called Our Planet, Our Health. And it was following the Brundtland, obviously, report and commission. And it's fascinating because if you read that book, Our Planet, Our Health, many of the things that we are trying to promote now were already identified and were already kind of promoted. Today, we had produced recently several reports on health and environment, looking at the connections between the environmental and social determinants of health, looking at how healthy environments equal healthy people, and healthy food production and sustainable food production systems equal healthy people, and how we can have to expand our area of intervention and our area of influence far beyond the health system or in the traditional terms. If you look at, there is a recent publication as well, call it Healthy People, Healthy Planet, Healthy Hospitals, where again we were saying, okay, we will connect the work we do at the healthcare facilities with what we do for the healthy people, healthy environments, but as well with the health of our planet. So those connections have been established for a long time, maybe not with the same terminology that we use now for the sustainable development, but it's very much something that we need to revitalize, and we need to make sure that all our constituencies and people outside the public health community will understand. Something a little bit provocative, but I cannot resist to share with you, is the fact that still in many environments and political environments, issues like ecosystems and biodiversity are still considered as a kind of left-wing political business. And I mean, at least in Europe and in other places, if you try to promote something related to climate change and biodiversity and the importance of ecosystems for human health, you are immediately kind of classified or qualified as a left-wing, good-intentioned activist. And I think that has to stop. Not because it's not good to be left or right wing, it's because this goes beyond the political parties groups. This is a political agenda, no doubt. This is extremely political, but in the good sense of the word politics, which means taking care of the good of our citizens and promoting the best things for them. But this goes beyond political parties. So I think as a movement here, we need to start to change that. This is not left or right, this is right, but not in the terms of political party. This is the right thing to do, this is the common sense thing to do, this is the logic thing to do, and this is the ethical thing to do as well. So for me, this is a point that I wanted to put for discussion and see the reaction of all of you. I hope you have the opportunity to read this, I think a very nice book produced jointly with the Commission of Biodiversity and WHO, which is called Biodiversity and Health, where we look at those connections that sometimes they are so obvious that you think that you don't need to produce any evidence to demonstrate the importance, but we did it in a very systematic way, and then you will see that it's not only important because of access to clean water, because all the species that you need, and because of the fact that if you don't have a biodiversity, you will miss many of the plants and that we use for new drugs or for developing new medicines that we need. So the biodiversity will be extremely important for our, in a very selfish way, if you want, for humans. This is extremely important. So it's not a question, as I say, of being activist of a good cause. It's a question as well of the survival of humans. And unless we pass this message as well to our citizens, we will have difficulties on moving that. For me, there are no limits to public health. Therefore, we need to make sure that, again, on all of these communities of biodiversity, of environmentalists, we need to more and more incorporate the word health. And I think it's good for both. When you promote an intervention on environmental terms, and you are able to identify the health co-benefits that can be obtained, you will have better results because people react still very well to the protection of their health. I mean, if you want to promote an environmental intervention to reduce greenhouse gases because you want to protect the planet, you want to protect the polar bears, you want to protect the glaciers, you will have a movement following you. But the moment you say, in fact, we are doing that, and there will be massive benefits for the health of the people, you will generate an interest and an action and a motivation by people that is quite significant. And in fact, we have the proof of that because we have been participating to all the negotiations, all the COPs. I think I attended, well, many. You don't need to know the number, but many. And the moment we started with a lot of difficulties, of course, to incorporate the health argument and the fact that the health cost of the hospitalization of people with chronic respiratory diseases, which will require a long-term hospitalization and therefore cost interventions and everything, the moment we start to say, anytime you promote sustainable transport, in fact, you are contributing as well to reduce the respiratory chronic diseases, asthma cases, and others, the politicians started to have a different interest on our arguments. And the most important, the citizens started to realize the linkages between climate change and health, for instance. Climate change and health is difficult for the general population to understand the linkage. It takes an intellectual effort to get there. But air pollution and health, for them, is quite immediate. There is no one citizen living in Lima, Peru, or New Delhi, or Beijing, or Shanghai that doesn't understand that breathing what they breathe every day in the street is bad for their health. They see it, they feel it every day. So this can be the click the click is not an English word, huh? But you understand, no? It's a kind of big change. I can represent it. It's like this. It's the click is a change, and which is fantastic because grandmothers understand that asthma cases in children are increasing, and they start to see a connection with something that is happening in the environment, and then they will be the first activists on doing something for the environment. Maybe the fact that you talk about polar bears, they see it as something for environmentalists, the left wing with, you know, these rastas and things like that. But the moment you say, hey, wait a minute, switch off the light, recycle, because this will have an impact on the asthma. I know that the connection is a little bit, is not prosy, but we need to use a little bit more than language, and those grandmothers are powerful. When the grandmothers are moving against asthma, believe me, you can obtain something. So we need to communicate with citizens. We have now very strong supporters of our work, mayors. We have the mayor of Paris, the mayor of London, the mayor of Madrid, the mayor of Barcelona, the mayor of, obviously Melbourne is this city you can go by bicycle everywhere, so it's fantastic, but it's not the case in many other cities around the world. Those mayors are the ones that whenever there is a peak of pollution, they are immediately in the front page of all newspapers, and therefore they get agitated. And because they get agitated, they start to look at what are the measures you need to take to reduce air pollution. And what a coincidence, all of those measures that you need to take to reduce air pollution are extremely good to reduce non-communicable diseases because they will facilitate an active lifestyle and they will reduce as well lung cancer and because we'll reduce air pollution. So in fact, we are generating and we need to be very, very good on giving the feedback on all of those messages because that will help us a lot in our agenda. So I think mayors and municipal authorities and local authorities can be very strong supporters of our work if we give them the good health arguments for them to use it politically, those arguments, because those guys that will be voted or not, depending on how good they are perceived by their citizens. And the last point I would like to make is about the political situation we are on it now, which is, you know, certain countries, well, at least one, they are now considering or questioning their engagement on the climate change agenda. And, you know, in my country, in Spanish, we say, I don't know whether the translation will be good, but we say, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Okay, so I think we need to all start to learn how to make a good lemonade. And because they are giving us lemons in some places, but I'm sure that that might generate a kind of strong reaction by others. And this is one we need to provoke. And I think, again, the health arguments are the ones that can help to create that movement. So if we are good, we can mobilize a lot of interest around this position that certain countries are taking and create a different movement where people will be even stronger because united sometimes, when you have a common enemy, if I can call it like that, we can even be stronger. So we are maybe creating today the lemonade movement, inaugurated in Melbourne in 4 April 2000. And I hope that, well, life will stop to give us lemons, but if it's the case, we will know how to react. Thank you for your attention.